I went shopping the other day and there were these really, really big displays supporting the Wicked film that's coming out soon. This is the film that's based on the Broadway musical, that's based on the novel that was written for adults, that's based on the children's book, The Wizard of Oz by L. Frank Baum. I really hadn't intended to talk about Wicked much at all because, as you can see, it's so far removed from the original story. But I have gotten a little more interested in it because it's pretty clear with the marketing and the PG rating that they are going for a family audience. So, what I've gotten kind of curious about with this is, will this story that started as a kid's story, inspired an adult book, inspired a Broadway musical that some kids like, but really, let's be honest, the core audience of musical fans is adults. And, now with this film, will children embrace it? Will it come back to children after this really cool artistic cycle that it's gone through? I think it's really natural for stories to grow and evolve and change and inspire new art. I love that part. But sometimes things just kind of have to stick with what they are. And when they try to be something that they're not, it won't work. But I mean, who knows? We'll never know until we see the movie. Maybe kids are going to respond to it and love it, but maybe not. One thing that made me think maybe not was when I saw these merch displays in the grocery store, the prices were already being slashed and none of the merch was really selling. There were some Funko Pop dolls that were kind of cute, and then there were these Barbies made by Mattel. I mean, I say Barbies, they had the face of Glinda and the face of Elphaba, but they're basically Barbies. But they were priced quite high to begin with, which wasn't going to help. It also doesn't help that kids don't know who these characters are at all. They're just not familiar with them. But the prices had been slashed. They were still just sitting on the shelves. They also had things like pajamas and these cute little sequin dresses that I did actually consider buying for a minute, but then when I felt them, I realized they had the kind of sequins that would really scratch the kids' arms. The sleeves were short, very cute, puffy, adorable, looked great on the hanger, but I just knew that once they were actually on the kids, they would just be complaining about having their arms scratched. The dresses were also quite a lot more expensive than the other merch in the store, and if I can buy something that looks similar on a rack just over there and it's half the price and I know my kids will actually be comfortable wearing it, I'm really not going to buy the branded merch. I know that promoting a movie is really hard. It's really difficult to come up with this bespoke merch, but it didn't seem to be connecting with families. Now, I can only speak for my local area, my local experience. I would also be curious to know if you've seen any of this merch where you live and if it seems to be selling, or maybe if the only people buying it are adults who already like the musical who then want to share it with the kids in their lives. There's nothing wrong with that, but at the end of the day, this stuff is either going to resonate with children or it's not, and there's nothing we adults can do about that. I thought there'd be no reason to think twice about any of this merch again, but then something really odd happened this week, and that was that it turned out that the website printed on the back of the Barbie box was not accurate. Now, this is a family show. I always make sure that everything I say could be watched by children or overheard by children, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. The accurate website for the movie is wickedmovie.com. The website that was printed on the box did not have the word movie, which, I mean, that seems like a pretty understandable typo that someone could make. I mean, this is a big brand, so they should be able to afford the word that's the name of the movie. However, this was not a regular website. It was a corn website where, lots of corn shucking took place and many agricultural happenings went on. Now, I don't think people need to freak out too hard about this, although I get why a lot of websites and YouTubers did because it's great for clicks. I don't know any kids who actually read the fine print on the back of a toy box, and there's literally no evidence that any children actually accessed this site. Obviously, a few parents did when they looked at it and tuned in and noticed the problem. So no actual harm has been done here. Now, is this an acceptable mistake? No. Should parents be alarmed and let everyone know about this and say, hey, this is not okay, this shouldn't happen? Yes, absolutely. Should someone lose their job over it? I don't think so. I don't think whoever the poor copywriter is who made this mistake should get fired. If responsibility falls on someone, it should be more on like the project managers or the editors who had oversight of this because they would have been the ones providing the information to whoever the copywriter was. I hope the names of the people who made this mistake never come out. They do not deserve the absolute landslide of hate that they'll get. They made a really dumb, boneheaded mistake, but I don't think we really need to freak out that much over it. I mean, based on what I saw at the store, these dolls weren't popular to begin with. They were all sitting on the shelf with the price being slashed and nobody was buying them. So that means not that many kids ever even got a hold of the boxes to begin with. There's also absolutely no evidence that any children accessed irresponsible agricultural information on the Corn website. So this is some book drama, or rather toy drama based on movie drama, based on a musical, based on a book, based on a kid's book drama that we just don't have to worry about. I'm really curious to see whether or not the Wicked movie will be embraced by kids. This is a story that's several generations removed from The Wonderful Wizard of Oz by L. Frank Baum, but it has a lot of things going for it. It'll definitely immerse you in a fantastic world of sound and color, although I hope it doesn't go too far with the computer graphics so that everything just looks fake. It does have two very talented singers in the lead roles, although Cynthia Erivo's recent meltdown over a perfectly innocent piece of fan art was very off-putting to a lot of potential ticket buyers. I also know that some parents have concerns about Ariana Grande being any kind of role model for children. This won't be a huge number of parents because they'd have to be the type that follow celebrity gossip and have kids and care about this movie, but I've heard this concern pop up in enough different places to say it's out there, and it might have some effect on ticket sales. But even if all that drama doesn't matter, you know what will? The runtime. This movie is 2 hours and 40 minutes long. That is too long. No child will willingly sit through that. If a film requires you to plan 3 potty breaks and a snack bag just to make it through, it is not for children. For this reason alone, I have no intention of taking my kids to the theater to see this show. Even more bizarrely, this is only part 1. That's right. Part 1 of the Wicked movie is as long as the entire Broadway musical, including the intermission. John Chu is a talented director with a superb sense of style, but I have to wonder if that'll compensate for what will certainly be a very overstuffed story. So, will Wicked find its way back to kids? Despite its turbulent marketing period, or maybe because of that, will it be a holiday hit with families? Will it bring kids back to discovering the magical land of Oz? Or will this be a film that adult fans of the musical enjoy, and the poor kids they drag along will wish they could have stayed at home playing Roblox? Let me know what you think, and whether or not you and your family will be going to see the Wicked movie.